What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Breaking News. The SBA admits declining 400,000 people of the $10,000 targeted Eidl advance. It is Sunday, May the 2nd, 2021. Please do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up. Hashtag Eidl in the comments below. And once again, I ask everyone to please join me on Twitter at TrySmallBiz. That's TrySmallBiz. Username SmallBiz Inc., the company that I formed a few weeks ago to help grow your small biz when this madness is over. As soon as somebody starts getting paid for the 24 months of working capital, that website's going to go live. So once again, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you join me on Twitter at TrySmallBiz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, did the SBA in fact admit 400,000 people were mass declined on April the 21st-22nd? And is the number actually way more than that? And did our pressure, along with Patrick TERPSTRA at Newsy, get the SBA to send out the decline emails, of which I got one last night, a week earlier than anticipated, because they know that trouble is on the way. So pull up a chair, ladies and gentlemen, grab a gigantic, tall, ice-cold bottle of water, cup of coffee, glass of wine. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, and I've said this a million times, I love Max Maher. I trust him. He's a good guy. He has a much different style than I do, but we found out last night, if you watched his video, that his source admitted that the SBA mass declined 400,000 people on April the 21st-22nd. Well, guess what? I'm calling bullshit. And I'm going to prove why it's a bunch of bullshit, because as he said in his email, a single batch. Okay, what about the second batch? Then the third batch and the fourth fucking batch. And what about people getting declined for being non-U.S. citizens when they were born like Bubba Wilson in Mississippi 40 some odd years ago? What about these people that are on do not pay lists that I've seen with myself, my own two eyes? They have a 760 credit score, never filed bankruptcy, have no marks whatsoever. I have people sending me screenshots of their Experian credit scores. There's no marks there, and they're on a do not pay list. My fucking ass. So we're going to blow this wide open, along with the Wall Street Journal and Patrick TERPSTRA. Make sure you see the pin poll on Twitter. Send him an email with your nightmares, with whatever it is. Last I heard, there was over 800 emails. He wants to interview people in the Washington, D.C. area. So if you're in Washington, D.C., and you've been accused of being a non-U.S. citizen when you were born in this country, you've been accused of being on back child support, you're delinquent, you never had fucking kids, or you've been married to the same guy for 45 years, and it's a bunch of BS, you need to reach out to Patrick TERPSTRA, PATRICK.TERPSTRA at scripps.com, SCRIPPS.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, answer me this question. Do you think the SBA would have come out the other night and admitted to 400,000 mass declines if it wasn't for this guy and others like Speak and See? No fucking way. You think they're going to raise their hand and say, oh, by the way, folks, we screwed up the live venue grant. We've got people waiting 2 months to get paid for the targeted Eidl advance. But guess what? We decided to mass decline 400,000 of you last Thursday or Friday. You know what? It's right here. It's Speak and See. It's Stephen Carlson. And yes, to some extent, it's Max Maher and a writer over at Skip and a few other channels that are raising hell. Once Miss ISABEL Guzman found out that the guy who exposed the $271.6 billion pile of cash was back for round two, and he was inviting people to send him emails into Washington, D.C., and if you're in that area, he wants to interview you on camera. She said, uh-oh, I know Max's source said you'd get a decline email by next Friday. Well, you got them last night, didn't you? Thousands of you wrote me. Actually, hundreds of you wrote me. I know thousands of you got them because I see the emails and the comments all over Twitter and YouTube. She said, get your fucking ass moving, because the Wall Street Journal and Patrick TERPSTRA, along with that crazy motherfucker that keeps running his mouth, along with Speak and See and many others who ain't having it. We ain't having it. We ain't having their bullshit. Don't tell us, first of all, 400,000 got declined? Don't insult our intelligence. Ladies and gentlemen, and to all the snowflakes out there who have no fucking clue what they're talking about, these are public information facts that you can find at the SBA.gov. James Rivera at the SBA in July and in August at a Senate hearing said a little over 9 million people applied for the targeted Eidl advance in the grant. And you can see the document. Writer over at Skip has shared it many, many times. 5.7 million of those 9 million got 1,000 per employee under the old Eidl advance. A little over 3 million got nothing because they applied in the middle of July when they ran out of cash to the cutoff date of December 27. So we're actually supposed to believe Max's source, once again, who's trying to tell us only 400,000 of you got declined, which would be less than 5% of the total, when I, along with Ryder over at Skip, have run about 7 or 8 polls apiece. In total, we have sampled over 50,000 people. Now, some of them more than once, I get it. But when you have an election, for example, they have the poll tracking that they sample a few thousand voters as they're coming out of the polls. Well, all they need is about 3,000 to get the entire state of California or New York, for example, to call the election hours early. So if I'm sampling, along with Ryder, 7,000 or 8,000 people, and for the last 2 or 3 times, it consistently comes in that 75% of you got declined April the 21st and 2nd. 75% of 8,000 people, declined without notification or email or reason, which is a violation of the law. So if you take 75% of 9 million, you've got over 6 million people. If you take 75% of 5.7 million, you've got over 4.5 million people. So I ain't buying it one fucking iota that they only declined 400,000 people, which is somewhere between 5 and no more than 8 or 9% of the total that applied. It's a fucking lie. But once again, our pressure, which is relentless, is getting more and more facts out into the open, more and more truth. So here's what I want to see, as I said on Twitter the other day. I want to see the audited results, just like the SBA did last year under Ms. Carranza, after the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, accused them of violating the law. Their words, not mine. They were not handing over loan data. They were not providing Marco Polo and the Senate committee with information that they wanted. So it took a threat, basically, to arrest or fire or indict or both people, including Carranza at the SBA, to get them to finally release the data on 5.7 million that got a grant by state. The average size of the grant was $3,400. So the average small business had 3.4 employees, meaning they were due on average $6,600. 3.7 million got an average size loan of $65,000. You can find all of that public information, Patrick, at SBA.gov. I might as well include the Wall Street Journal. I appreciate very much what you guys and gals are doing. All of that is at SBA.gov. Now they come out with a monthly report on the Eidl loan. A little over $200 billion have been funded. So I want to see how many people have actually gotten the targeted $10,000 targeted Eidl advance. How many have been declined by each state? And I want to know the reasons why. You're not in low income. You didn't suffer sufficient economic loss. You know why we haven't seen that information, folks? They know it's a fucking train wreck. They know that guys like me are going to go nuts when only, according to our polls, 10% of you have actually gotten the $10,000 targeted Eidl advance. 5 or 6% of you have been waiting for as many as 2 months in approved status, waiting for funding. 75% of you, 7-5, got declined automatically in mass a week and a half ago without warning, and 10% of you have not gotten an answer on anything since you applied for the $10,000 targeted Eidl advance. So, one more time. I ain't buying the fact that they only declined 400,000 people. I appreciate Miss ISABEL Guzman lighting a fire under somebody's ass to get the explanations, including to me this morning at about 2 o'clock in the morning, as to why I got declined. I'm not in a low-income community. I told you guys that. Not a surprise. The way the law is written, because they're pandering to low-income communities, guys like me are fucked in the short term until Jackie Rosen's EIDL Small Business Act S513 hopefully gets called for a vote by Chuck Schumer. And Chuck, in case you didn't hear me last week, if you don't come through with $10,000, regardless of size, location, or credit score, if the caps are not going back to $2 million where they belong, if we don't get 24 months of working capital without any games with respect to clawbacks, and yes, to the one snowflake over on Max's channel who accused me of lying about working with Big Ben Cardin to get the Eidl loan forgiven, haven't you watched his fucking Facebook Lives? You lack of testosterone, snow fucking flake, fake motherfucker. He's publicly talked about, I want the Eidl loans treated like PPP so that the folks watching me right now never pay the SBA a dime. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to keep raising hell. I'm going to keep fighting, scratching, and clawing along with Speak and See, Ryder over at Skip, Max Maher, Aubrey Janik, Dan over at I Allegedly, Mr. Purple Power. Haven't heard much from him raising hell lately. Maybe he's still in the game. And maybe we can get Meet Kevin to call some bullshit on the SBA. So until next time, always remember, ladies and gentlemen, I love each and every one of you, and thank you so much for watching.